We need to up our game and shit. We need to do comedy butt naked, right?
Saying his goodbyes. He blew his eye socket off and his eyeball fell out.
White women keep kidnapping us. Y'all seen The Blind Side?
Aren't you glad we have that disclaimer at the beginning of the episode?
It's going to come in handy for this episode.
This week's episode is brought to you by Big Boy Raps. Mention the Voice Party and get $200 off your first graphic rap or color change. Big Boy Raps, where the big boys play. Welcome. This week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your host, Corday Snell. Next to me, I got...
Marcos Molinar from the band. Tomorrow is June.
No one gives a fuck about tomorrow's June right now.
Wait, was that a sound?
Yeah.
No, my name is Jesus Cruz.
And across from me at the table, we got...
Black Joaquin right here.
The very funny, the very talented JD Arandia. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man.
Yeah, we got Phil on the ones and twos.
Making podcasts great again.
And this week we have a very distinguished, guest who you've wanted to get on this podcast for a long time.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Ever since we ran into each other at Sprouts.
At Sprouts?
After years of not seeing you.
Oh, hell yeah. I shop at Sprouts. Well, I used to shop at Sprouts all the time because I was vegan. We got the homie.
Did you guys crash your carts?
No.
EC.
He was waiting for the sound effect too.
Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming out, man.
No problem.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
it's funny because once I I had like a better job, started shopping at Sprouts again, you know, and then I ran into him.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him walking around the school. The first time I saw you, because you look young. You look young when you were. I'm getting close to almost 20 years since I graduated high school.
Same, dude.
So this was all a while back, and you're in your mid 40s.
Yeah, something like that.
So you look super young when I was like, it's a new security guard they hired for the Mexicans.
I was a janitor, man.
Security janitors.
Yeah, there you go.
Why is the gardener inside? What's going on? And you taught English second language for a long time, right?
Yeah, ESL, mostly
ESL.
math though. I started with math,
remedial
algebra.
fellow math teacher over here.
Yep. See, and at the time, it was like when they just packed the classes, so it was kids that
35
actually
students.
38, 40,
shit.
and like the kids that didn't pass algebra 1 like were there too. So you had like juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
And like no freshmen. It was sophomores and up. So like you had everybody there, and it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know who my special ed kids were until like 3 months into it because they didn't give you a list, you know.
They were just mixed in there?
Yeah, they mean that's what they do, but they didn't tell me, you know.
Damn.
Because that's how
figure it out.
Yeah, that's how. And then I was like, why is this kid like this? Like, never.
This fool's leaning a little bit to the left.
Yeah, this fool is exactly where he's just yapping, talking, everything can't control. Oh, then like I get the list.
You got ADD or something like that.
And I'm like, no wonder.
Going to meetings, like, I got these few kids who just like hard to like focus and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they got ADD. They didn't tell you? Like, no.
Wait, so they never like told you? I thought they kept them like.
They do, but at the time, you know,
it's a different time.
Yeah,
West
like,
of education.
Yeah, you know, everything gets caught up, like a paper gets left somewhere. This is before Google and stuff. Like they were supposed to either email you or give you a list. But like, that system was a little broken at the time. You know?
That's why you look stressed a lot of the times, huh?
Dude, it was like 5 out of 6. That's your full-time pay for a teacher at the time, or even now. Depends on the school, but like a full-time is like a certain amount of classes and then 1 period off.
What's the most students you've had in a class?
Like 40.
Wow.
40, 38 or 40.
That's crazy.
But at the time, like the district didn't allow plus 38 or 40, and if it did, they would pay you like $1 or $2 a day for that extra student. So
that's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, at the time though, I was good for me.
Hell yeah, give me 10 more.
I think it was like $30. You know,
it's like your first job. Your first job. Okay,
exactly.
I got you. Yeah.
First contract.
How long you been teaching for?
I taught for 15, 16 years. Even currently, I have a credential still.
Nice.
Okay.
So like, I could still teach if anything goes wrong in my current job. I know what to do. Like, I'll just go back and teach.
Or sometimes I remember specifically like sometimes admin like was like. They was doing a thing where admin was coming around, help teaching and stuff like that. So because they have their credential.
Oh, because
because
when they're low in teachers, huh?
Low in teachers, but then also it was like they were saying they wanted to help like admin experience like what teachers are going through. But then it was funny because I saw one admin, he just stayed by the door and just had like was playing stuff. Like I'm like, oh, this dude has no idea how hard it is to like to wrestle or like try to like tame third graders. Yeah. He was just like, yeah. And I was like, yo, who's this dude? And somebody was like, oh no, he's like under the superintendent. And I was like, oh, okay. But why he just standing next to the door? He's supposed to be teaching. I'm like, yeah, that's not teaching.
Wait, have you seen stuff like that? Because I know right now, I mean, this is a true story. This happened through the Voice Party. One of our guests was talking about, he was a firefighter or something. Yeah. And someone that listened to the show reached out to him from Richmond High. I don't know if I should have said that, but anyways. And I won't say who. And they offered him a job as a teacher for, I forgot what, but he's like, dude, I have no teacher credential. They're like, oh, we'll work with you on that. And I was like, is it really that bad right now where there's no teachers and they need?
That sounds very familiar, man. Because right now, I mean, the pipeline is kind of broken. Like, people don't want to do teaching for the things we've talked about.
Yep. And so someone might hit me up.
You could teach filmmaking.
The biggest hurdle though is you need a what do you call it, a degree?
Master.
Or just a regular bachelor's. Yeah. That's it. That's the only thing. But if you have that, outside of that, you check that requirement, they could put you in.
Yes, they can like maneuver a way to get it in. Like because I remember because like now I'm like working on my credential to be like a credential teacher to teach this particular subject. Yeah. But then if I don't, I'm like, okay, we can hire you as a sub and make you like a long-term sub.
So there's a leniency with subs.
Yeah. And then the system, the state like changed a bunch of requirements so they could fast track folks like him and get your credential faster. And the thing is, like, there's hella hoops to go through to be an educator. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. It's
what do you mean hoops? Like in
like getting first of all getting a degree, Yeah. Like that's like a big hurdle. But then once you get that, you have to pass like a test. Pass another test.
Was that CBEST?
You told me all that. CBEST. Then if you want multi-subject or single subject, it depends. CSET's a big one. Yeah.
That's why I haven't finished my credential because I can't pass CSET for multiple subjects, which is like for like
you're not applying yourself enough, bro.
I honestly do. I feel like that sometimes. I remember the first 2 times I took the test, I barely studied for it. I just like went and like did it.
You just winged it.
Well, because it was math and science. I'm like, and I'm good in math.
The answers are all C.
No, it's not even that. But it's kind of like that. But then what it is, they say it's elementary algebra or elementary math, right? Which is a lie because it's actually like algebra 2. It's like a little bit of geometry and some pre-cal. And pre-cal in there too, but they'll say it's elementary algebra because you learn about angles and you learn kind of like about you learn about prisms like and stuff like that in elementary. So they'll say it's elementary algebra to make it seem easy. And I'm like I took it.
Oh, so it's like pre-cal but with lumped into because it makes sense. You want to know like. Yeah. But
I'm like, I'm trying to teach fifth graders. Like I'm trying to teach fifth to like, or like I'm trying to teach second grade. Why do I have to know algebra 2 trick? And that's the thing held me back because like I scored high on a lot of the math stuff, but the science is always tricky because
I was lumped in with it.
It's lumped in. It's like chemistry. It's like biology. It's like physics. Because I remember they asked me like a specific question. They was like, if this is the question I remember specifically because it keeps coming up. It's like, okay, so if I drop a beach ball I drop a baseball and a beach ball off like a tower, which one will go faster?
Someone's gonna die. Yeah. That's all I can answer.
I think that too. I thought that too, but it was like articulate your analysis of what would happen, and then I'm like, which one falls first and why they fall first. And I remember I knew like does it, and then it's like does it just fall straight down? Does it move around? I'm like, okay, and then it's like a physics thing, right? Where it's like object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by outside force. And I was like, in a beach ball and a baseball, the beach ball has a bigger mass, but it's lighter in frame. So the baseball will, so it'll like float down like this versus the baseball is going to drop straight down because it's heavier and the force of it's going to push it to go faster versus the beach ball.
It's going to have more impact.
Yeah, so more impact, but it's just, they're talking about the fall. They're not even talking about when it hits.
Okay.
So say which one will fall faster, even though the beach ball has the bigger mass. Why does something have a smaller mass but falls faster? So it's like all this kind of thing.
Do you know the answer to that question? No.
I'm just going to say I'm not going to have much to contribute on this episode right now. But I do want to take it back to something because you mentioned you did ESL, you know, English as a second language, and that I can identify, and it's probably going to be the only contribution I have for this episode. But so I grew up. I'm from California. I'm from San Jose. But my family moved to Jalisco a lot. So that means I went to school over there. Some elementary, so I would go back and forth. First grade here, second grade there, third grade here, like that, back and forth. The longest I've been in Mexico was 3 years for junior high. And then when I came to high school here, I came in as a sophomore, and they just saw my paperwork that said Jalisco, so they immediately put me in ESL, even though I'm fluent in English. So I didn't say shit, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, you know, everyone else in the other classes were reading like Catcher in the Rye, and we were over here with like Green Eggs and Ham or Cat in the Hat. So I didn't say shit, dude. I played like I was like, no, I don't know, no, yo no hablo inglés. And then they realized like, wait a minute, this fool is taking ESL, but he just like auditioned to be a lead in the play, or like does video production. Like, no, there's something going on here. But what are some of the challenges in like teaching ESL?
Yeah, so that's a great story, because what happens is like if you're in a public district, public schools should get like a form, a survey that says, hey, you know, what primary language do you speak? And then the parents fill that out, and then they'll say like, oh yeah, Spanish, English, or Spanish only. Then they're supposed to give you like an exam to test your English skills. Right. And then from there, they should know if you're like either this, here, or there. So something happened there. But whatever the case was, like if you are a newcomer, like it's hard. Like we don't really have many programs right now or systems in place that really help. It has, you know, we have to have like, well, districts have to have like specific people, right? Teachers, number one. Number two, systems, and then like interventionists that help, you know? And then obviously like professional development. You have to know the ELD standards, right?
Right.
And, you know, at least in California, the majority of our students up here, you know, like you said, Spanish speakers, but then there's like the Chinese, Portuguese, there's other languages. So it is kind of a lot, but, you know, schools do their best to do that. And there's not many, but like there is a good amount of newcomers, like what you're saying. And then after that, they have to go through a process. They get tested every year on their English development. So that's what I used to do actually at my old site. That was the ELD guy.
And then I learned later on, like I never paid attention to this, but it makes sense that a lot of schools that do have a lot of non-English speakers, like they get tested like everyone else, and it's whatever. If they're low scoring, that affects like the whole school, right?
And that affects funding too.
Exactly,
right?
It's an indicator on. This is all technical stuff, but like go on the websites, you know, a dashboard, it'll say ELs. That's the mark that says like where your ELs are at or how high they're achieving. So yeah, like you said, it'll impact like how much money a school will get or a program or whatever. And you know, that data is important for like principals. And
this is turning the conversation stupid now. All right. I think I shared this yesterday. The first time I heard ESL, I was like elementary. I forgot what, you know, because I went from all Spanish classes to English classes, even though I was born here. And I remember this one kid asked me, "Are you in ESL?" And I was like, "Nah, fool, I'm not. I don't bang with." I thought it was a gang. ESL, Eastside Locals.
Like like a ES.
But for me, like it was
ESL dog.
So going back to like the shortage of teachers though, like right now, I know in your last, because this is the conversation for me and you kind of started off where like you were in the last place you were working. You were working like more as a principal, but you had to teach also because right now is that the case everywhere right now?
It just depends on the school, man. Like if a school has like teachers that are out all the time or don't hire or haven't hired enough yet or still waiting on people, like the principals will go in and be in classrooms. Like even currently in my son's school, like his principal had to be in the class like for a teacher that left or couldn't handle it and just quit, and then he has to be there for like until they get another teacher. So it's not like all year, but temporary. And I was doing that a little bit, but that's like part of it is the pandemic, you know. That messed up a lot of schools in general. Even like before that, too. But even before that, that would happen now and then. That was just part of like a role.
So going to what he said though about the ESL thing and how they get tested the same way. Though let's say like a school like one of the ones I grew up in or whatever. maybe because they have a lot of students that are from out of the country and they don't speak English. Yeah. So now that on top of having more students in each class, now they also dropped in funding. So that's what's going on with
it's all affected. Yeah. Yep.
I remember specifically, I was teaching, I was help teaching a math class. I was like an 8 or stuff like that. And we kept comparing 2 different classes because you had 2 classes for like 2 different like long periods throughout the day. And then we kept comparing the first class and the second class. And we had to separate the second class in 2 tiers because the second class was a lot of newcomers and stuff like that. So like here's the overall grade in the class. And then here's the grade of the people who are not newcomers. Here are the grades of the newcomers.
Oh, you had them separated.
We had because like a lot of newcomers, sometimes we would constantly be getting newcomers who just came. They're like, this person just came or this kid just came. So it was it was kind of the guy who I was working with, he could speak fluent Spanish. So he would I would take care of the kids. Like when we break off in little lessons, I would take care of the people who need help. Then we have people who worked individually. Then he would teach a whole nother lesson in Spanish. Then they was telling him no, just teach everything in English. They should know. It was this person just got here. What are you talking about?
That's where it gets rough. I mean, it is kind of that's how you also learn, but it is, rough.
But also I liked math more because at first it was kind of
it's all numbers.
It's all numbers. So then a lot of the times
the answer's ocho.
So it was some of that, and then or sometimes if I subbed for him, if he was out, I would count in Spanish stuff like that, and then I would double check. I'm cien, I'm doce, trece, jodece, and stuff like that, and then so it would be little things like that kind of helped. And it was and they really looked at me oh, okay, and I'm like, see.
What made you get into what made you want to become a teacher?
Well, at the time I needed a job.
That's after is that what you went to college
I went
for?
to college. I actually went to college to be an engineer, but I messed up. I messed up big time. But I didn't get kicked out or anything. I was just on a different that and other things. It's just you're 20 something or your early 20s, and all you're doing is hanging out, and it's a great time in California, and what could you do? You know what I mean? It was nice. and you're around people and you network and stuff like that, and college is great and all that. So, but I was not making the right choices, but I was just happy enough to graduate. I changed my majors 180 degrees, from mechanical engineering to communications. That was a 180. Yeah. But in the end, though, I was just okay. What am I gonna do? I'm glad I graduated. Number one, I almost didn't. Number two is I need to do something because I'm living with my parents and I don't want this. I came back to make some money. So then my mom's a teacher and my uncle's a teacher, and they were like, listen, I need a sub. Do you want a sub? What grade again? Second, 4th grade, and 2nd grade, and all. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I go and I sub my mom's class, and that's how it started. I was like, what the heck is going on? She was at a school in the same district. Yeah. Public elementary
in Bay Area.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And those little, 2nd graders, okay, I could do this, I think. And then I got a kindergarten. I started just going in the district subbing different classes. And this one teacher was like, I need you to do my kindergarten. I'm gonna be out for 6 weeks. Can you do it? I'm like, okay,
6 weeks.
Yeah, I need money.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Little kids, that was something. I was like, okay, I could hang.
Yeah.
And they were, what's cool about elementary is I was kind of tall and big. They didn't. No one messed with me. Even though I wasn't gonna yell, or I'm a different type of. I have a different approach, but it was very chill, easy. The biggest problem I had was, I didn't let a little kid go bathroom. And she was and I was like, no, it's reading time. Yeah. And I look over and there's a big old puddle under there.
Oh, damn.
I was like, damn.
On that note, you being tall and whatever, I think when we first saw you in Richmond High, some of the students said, oh, he's some OG Cholo from East LA. Ex-Cholo from East LA.
Yeah.
So then when I met you, you're like, you're not, you're from the beach.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, that right there helped me get to kids have a perception, and
just same with you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, does that help you, just being big bigger than
So I
more
was
respect or whatever?
I was thinking that. Well, especially like while I was teaching like elementary stuff like that. Now I'm like with older kids and stuff. I think it still kind of helps too because I'm just like because I think it does because a lot of my students who like kind of like trying to mess with me, they'd be like, "Hey, did you used to play football? I played football, basketball, and it's like, and I played rugby." They was like, "Oh, so you can lift?" I'm like, "Yep, sure can." Like, what's the most you ever lifted? And I always throw out like a big number. The most I ever lifted though, bench, I'm like 350, but I'll say like 375. They're like, "How much did you squat?" I'm like 700. You squatted 700? So they'd be like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, but
Get back to work.
Yeah.
But
So that helped you out when you were.
And then you just, you kind of go on a tangent. You just
because some of these kids are fucking crazy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Or they try to distract you. They'll try to like start going down that rabbit hole to kind of get you off topic of what we're doing, so they don't have to do work. So they're like, "Okay, so you like sports? Then like, what kind of sports your team?" Stuff like that. And I'm just like, "Hey, let's get back to the task at hand. We'll talk about this after class." And then I always push it like, if you guys want to talk to me, you can talk to me after class. A lot of people don't want to talk to you after class, so they be like, "Oh, okay, I'll talk to you after class." And I'm like, "Anybody want to stay and figure?" "No, I'm cool. All right, bye."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you
So you started off just doing elementary.
yeah, then I started subbing at high school. Actually, I did middle school for like 2 days, and I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like 7th, 8th grade.
Why? That's what
They're the same.
That's what Joaquin said too.
They've
What's
been
up
the
with
same, man. They've been the same. It's just like that age group, man. Like when
They're
you're
assholes, huh?
13, 12.
Yeah.
They're the
12,
biggest
13.
jerks ever, man. These guys, like, you just, man, because it's all like they're growing up.
They're growing up.
Yeah, they don't know how to
Yeah.
control it. Man, that is hard. So
that's the hardest grade.
Yeah, I give props to like 7th, 8th grade teachers out there, man.
And when I was in Helms, in middle school, there was a lot of incidents where substitute teachers just walking out.
Yeah,
and
I
quitting.
believe that.
Yeah.
Makes sense because
Little assholes, huh?
well, no, it's just so much.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on already in the classroom, but then now you're dealing with somebody who doesn't know how to deal with their emotions and going through puberty and
their
stuff.
puberty and all that.
So it's just like all that versus like high school. It's they're kind of more mature. They're kind of like
more chill
they're
out,
like chilling down versus like you're getting them immediately doing like they're just trying to figure everything out as their body's changing every day.
Yeah.
Is that where your kid is at right now? Middle school? Is he?
Yeah, he's 12 years old right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right in the middle. That's the start. Yeah.
So I always, whenever I hear a teacher's like, "Oh, I love teaching middle school," I'm like, "You are crazy!" Like,
More power to them.
yeah. It's like more power to them, but the fact that they say like, "I love this," I'm like, how? Like you dealing with so much stuff on a daily. That is like, nah.
It's true. Like those teachers too. Like they actually love doing that. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
They like confrontation.
Yeah, they like dealing with all that, and in a way though, like there's fun times you could do because you just go, you kind of go to their level, but you always raise a bar as a teacher, because like that's one thing I always hear or read about is like the kids, they're down there, they're this and that, they blame the kids for everything, but really if you bring the bar up and then you build relationships with them, everything's good.
How did you ever manage having like a rowdy? Because I'm sure you had.
It took me like 4 or 5 years. It took me like 2-3 years to really understand that. But man, what I did was I just learned from them, man. I just learned from the kids. Like the beginning, I tried to be this and that, and they ran over me, man. It was like wolves.
Yeah.
It was like straight up wolves. 40 kids that were just at different levels. But what it was though was like nobody believed in them. Every kid I had, like
you had all the bad students.
Yeah, they got like I got F's. Like I got
You're like
F's.
Mr. Escalante.
Yeah, straight up.
That was one of my favorite movies. Honestly,
Stand and
I
Deliver.
tried, but even I couldn't get to that level. But I tried, and like one thing that I remember hearing was like, "I'll give a kid a C or a C minus." Like, damn, that's the highest grade I ever had, man. Thanks, Garcia. And it's like that kind of thing. I was like, okay. So what I try to do is just build relationships with them, and then it came to a point where I learned a lot from them too. And then, it just kind of clicked. And then the next year I actually had help in my class. And then I just learned from, it was cool. And then I had special ed kids at one point, like at the time they're called NSH, like a level above like severely handicapped. But those kids, man, they were they're off the hook, but they were great kids, man.
Yeah.
Those kids are great. And this is like this area, East Bay area, man. They're really good. So I learned a lot from them, and then eventually I started learning. Also, I was better at what I was doing. Like you were saying, he was breaking down how to teach a class with like you do this and this. I kind of figured that out, and then I knew my content a little better, and I just made it more like relational.
Yeah.
Relational.
In but that's hard to do when you have a lot of students.
Yeah, you figure out ways.
And when you knew.
Yeah, yeah, because
You got to figure out, okay, some of these kids aren't going to make it. No,
well, that's the thing. I remember someone told me like, now you can't save them all.
Yeah.
And
So when you
crazy.
when you do watch movies like Stand and Deliver, like Lean on Me, Morgan Freeman, like is that a true portrayal of behavior of kids, or obviously because it's a movie, sometimes you just got to amp it up a little bit?
Yeah, it's a little bit of Hollywood, but there is like those situations are real. Like I think the resources, like most classes won't have the resources. One thing that's really real, I think, is like you can teach kids really without many resources. You just need like a piece of paper, a pencil, maybe some folder systems, and then you have your textbooks that by law every kid's supposed to have, and just use that, you just use that and use old school. One thing that I was really great to use for math, especially, was whiteboards.
Yeah.
And like low tech shit, that stuff.
What do you mean, just a whiteboard?
Like little whiteboards. And the kids write on them, and we used to use that. Like that was my system.
Because it's fun to.
And then they draw, and then we did this, and then we did group ones, and we did the whole group ones, and we played bingo, and we did all. And I had prize boxes for high schoolers. Like these little kids, they would work for like Dollar Tree stuff, and like I had a box of stuff. So like either they get points or little like treats and stuff like that, and they work for that. And then food too works, all that.
Oh
kind of
yeah.
Like oranges, I bring a bag of oranges, and they all of them.
Little motivational tactics. Like I've talked to other teachers too. I'm like, how do you get them to move? Like, oh, like I have like snacks, or I give them this. Like, hey, if you like read, like I'll give you this. So I tried that. Well, I tried that, and then it didn't work because like the kids are just like, oh, we don't like to talk. And I'm just okay, all right.
But that's what, like, one of my high school friends that I went to graduated around the same time. He's a first friend of mine that became a teacher. He went straight from high school. Once we graduated college, he started teaching at a college down south. Yeah. And he told me, like, it started, that's like a new teacher thing started fucking with his mind, where he would get depressed with some of the stories he'd hear, especially when you're working at some of these schools like Richmond High, Kennedy. You see do you ever take that home? Do you ever taken any of that home?
Oh man, I mean,
or how do you manage?
I well, when I was younger, before I had kids and all, I just hanged out with my friends, man. I just hanged out with my brother's friends. We would go out, I used to go A's games all the time, Raider games, when they're here, and like go to the city, like that kind of thing, just keep my mind off. But really, like you do go, like, so it also depends on how you handle it, because you hear some things, kids unfortunately they get shot and killed sometimes. There's tragic things, even accidents, happen. And so like you cope, everybody copes differently, but like for me, I just try to mentally just focus on the kids that are with me, at my job, a part of my caseload and all that. Yeah,
because I'm also sure, like with like a teacher like you, where you're full time with a lot of these students, you're probably the only person they vent their shit to, and that's
oh man, I mean, for legal
counselor,
and that's one of the things I'm trying to do maybe down the line. But like you're saying, like when I was at my prior site, man, there were some things happen too, like the media comes and stuff like that, and you gotta get ready for that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Things like that have happened in my experience, and like they can go national too, And to that extent, like some people can't cope and some people can, but you just gotta find your ways. You know what I mean? And like I think the kids too, they always understand. They always get your back if you have a good relationship with them. They're very understanding.
I had like my favorite teachers in high school were the ones that got me, like they understood. For example, English or history, they would let me, because they knew like I was into video production. Even in high school, I was in video class. So they're like, why don't you make a little video instead of writing out a paper or whatever? Make a video of what you learned. I'm like, oh hell yeah. So then we'd act it out. I'd get all the angles. I'd put music and stuff like that. But it was like, okay, yeah, that's what he's into. So I was grateful. Like, oh shit, like now I want to work. Now I want to learn this, because I get to put my stuff in there.
And I feel like some kids, man, teachers are the first ones to understand them, more so than their parents sometimes. And that's a thing that is not really, like that's why I wanted to bring you on. Like
they're there, like what are they gonna do?
You're with us more than your parents.
Exactly. And what you were saying, man, that's what I used to do later. Like after my first 5 years, I started teaching engineering. I had an engineering class, and that's what we did. I had kids who were interested, and I had like 3D printing. I taught the kids how to use Inventor. We built stuff, man. These kids were building like little Pokeballs and stuff like that.
Yeah, there we go.
And then we did all that. And then I had the senior class, which was like architectural engineering, and it was stuff they liked. And plus, we had kids there in those classes. It was an academy model, so it was kids who were interested in that route were part of it. Now we had a multimedia route, kids like what you were saying, there was kids that were part of that route too that like doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we should do in schools right now, like kind of like the trade thing.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately, like, you know, certain schools don't do that yet or don't have the people. We need people like y'all could be teachers doing multimedia, like a studio, you know, production class, like studio production 1, like, you know, beginner, and then studio production 2 is advanced.
A lot of schools got rid of all that, man.
I know. And it's fun.
We had a whole studio, like.
You did?
Wow.
Yeah, an editing room.
What school?
Newark Memorial.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you guys had like elective that was.
So we had an elective,
so cool.
and on top of that, we also had what's called Mission Valley Regional Occupation Program, which is like, okay, if you wanna
trades.
Trades. Like if you want to work on cars, if you want to do cosmetology, there's that. They just happen to have a television broadcasting one.
Oh wow.
So the local TV station there offered their space, like, hey, if you want to let the kids.
That's so cool, man.
So that's how I got into all this. Yeah.
See, like do they still have them?
I think so.
I think we were the first ones to have the multimedia. I don't know if we were the first ones, but when I was a senior,
there were several, but I think you guys had a good like.
we had like brand new equipment. Remember, we didn't appreciate it as much. I think.
Yep.
But I was in the multimedia.
You just walked Corday out of here.
Have fun, bro.
Well, now that he's gone, I don't think Corday's a teacher. I think he's lying.
Yeah, no, but it is a thing where like, I mean, like the pandemic, things are already hard. It seems, especially in this side where you're at, and the pandemic just kind of took a shit on a lot of.
Man, I mean, I don't know how you guys got through it, but like, I mean, I had kids, so I had to be with my kids like every day.
Oh yeah,
like in front of the screen. Like no. Like one of them was, I mean, one was in, I forgot what grade, like 3rd or 2nd. Yeah. But it was hard. Like he would not go on there, not because he didn't want to, because it's like, why? Like I ain't learning, you know.
What was the situation when, like, let's say a student did not have access to internet? Like, is there like?
It depended on the site. So what we did was we gave them what do you call a hotspot.
Hotspot.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys provided internet. Computer.
Yeah. Okay. So something too is like right now I think every kid or most sites should give a device. Every kid has a device.
Okay.
So we made sure all our kids had devices, and then hotspots were given to families who didn't have internet. Or something like that.
Yeah, because I remember when I was working Comcast, we were doing that like $10.
Oh yeah, and then there's that
Essentials
that's
or something like that.
Essentials. There you go. Yeah,
I used to work for Comcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's true. So I think when I was at the district or the other district, it was like they had that program for families, but we just gave out hotspots.
But I know it was an issue for a lot of like parents where you know they had to go out for work and like what the hell are kids gonna do?
No, there was some
kids were alone, huh?
Yeah, they had it like I remember this one mom. She worked at a hotel, you know, doing the what do you call it?
Clean?
Yeah, and then there's I think son or daughter was like had to go and just do the classes while she was cleaning hotel rooms, man.
Wow.
It's like crazy. And then this other one was like had a business or like worked at a restaurant, and the poor the girl, she was a little older, she just went across the street at McDonald's and was at McDonald's all day on the Wi-Fi there, you know. Like there's all kinds of stuff, those stories out there, you know. So it was hard, man, you know.
This whole thing about, you know, teachers are underappreciated, underpaid, they're overworked.
Yep.
How much is, like, from when I was in high school 2008 or when I first, you know, how much has that changed to right now?
It really depends, man. Like I think it depends on the districts and funding, really. I think it's more of a national level, United States level. Like, what is our value? You know, do we, like you said, do we value educators and education? I don't think so.
At all?
I mean,
not much.
We have to. I mean, not much. I mean, look what's going on. You know, people are questioning public schools and like what we're teaching kids. And so like, it makes me think like how much, you know, value do we put in place into our people that are out there, like educators? Like, do we really care? Like there's this push for private schools and privatization of schools and all that, and it's like
charter schools.
Exactly. It's like man, like, you know, pay us like real like CEOs, you know. And then pay like then we would have more people trying to like teach. And then like for example, if a school like the ratio was like 15-1 or 12-1. That's like graduate school, you know, you could really reach all the kids at that point. At least it's a little easier to manage, you know. So that's where we're at. I don't think our U.S. system is there.
Dude, and it's crazy. Like I used to cover school board meetings for the city of Newark, man. And those went on for like hours and hours, 3 a.m, like this and that. Just the school board members not agreeing to certain things that, parents were there, students were there, talking about an issue or whatever. But it's just so much decision making that goes on,
and so much stuff parents bring, like, I know that's like for you as a parent, like how do you ever butt heads with your kids' teachers? Like, how do you take it on that level?
Now it's starting
as a customer.
It's starting to happen.
That's hard. It's
starting to happen a little bit, but it's like sometimes I get it though. Sometimes teachers don't get it, like don't understand, because there's so many kids that need help, right?
Yeah.
If they're like 20 or 30, like they might forget about one kid because another kid needs more support, or there's an IEP. Now, one thing that's happening is like 504 plans. That's when parents like advocate and get something that says, hey, teacher, you have to actually pay attention because this is like legally you have to, so that's something that's happening nowadays. It's been happening, but that's like a parent has to have access or understand that system a little bit. And those are like accommodations and stuff like that,
right?
But not all kids get that unless they're like they have to vet it, they have to go through a third person, like a pediatrician or a doctor or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but then there's IEPs. That's different. That's like if you actually have a disability.
Yeah.
Those are like way different. Those are done, in every school.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up that he, mentioned, which we kind of mentioned it without saying names or anything like that, but
he meaning Cordair, because you pointed over here.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
I don't want to get involved in
this. Yeah. Where in one of the previous places that you worked at, you had issues because you were too pro teacher, which sounds horrible,
right?
But
that's funny.
That's
to
weird.
You're pro-human.
You're pro-human. You're pro-rights. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear more about that. Maybe another time.
Maybe no. Yeah, it was numbered now.
I think what that means is, I'm thinking about just like union rights, as a teacher or as a person. If you're there, and you're being asked to do this and then asked to do this, but then you're also being asked like to be here from a certain time and on other days, and they put things on you on top of everything else. Like, I think that's what is part of it, that's too much, man. Like we're not robots, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing that, like, I mean, we were asking another teacher the other day, when do you grade? Like, when do you grade your papers? Like, does that fall on your personal time? Does that?
I mean, when I was younger, I had to work after school, or during my weekends.
Yeah.
Now, as I got better at teaching and doing my thing, like I did it during the school day, or class. I figured out how to put in shit in the class, in the power school. Like, okay, throw me the work. Okay, bing, let me add the points up right now. Ding, ding, ding. So then I could just.
You guys were gonna watch Selena while I work.
Right. Here's the video. Here's your assignment. Like on Fridays, your independent work. Like, I'm just facilitating. Y'all do your work, and I'm just bing, ding, ding, just doing it. So it really depends. Now I know English teachers, man, they got to read hella essays.
Oh yeah.
And that's effed up, man. Like, that's part of it, right?
Takes a long time.
But damn, like you have to read like 120 essays, man.
Dude, and now with the AI, where kids could probably just cheat. There's always been, especially since the internet.
Yep.
We barely had the internet when I was in high school. Like, it was just started. AOL just started coming.
Yeah, we could copy and paste and get away with it.
But it was like different. It wasn't even like that. Like, we didn't even think to do that because it was just like, it's brand new. But now with AI, like, even for me, when I asked for grants for like filmmaking, I was like, oh shit, let me just type in kind of what I want, and then I'll put AI like, hey, make this sound professional.
ChatGPT.
That's cool. Yeah, that's actually. Yeah. I think with that, I'm not sure. With, like you said, I don't know if kids know how to use it, but
damn, I just told them how.
But the thing is, like, I think with AI, with teachers, if they're good at what they're doing, like they could see, like especially if they're seeing their work during a school day.
And there's something you can like insert it into or like scan it and it sees it, right?
I heard there's like
something like
AI
detect for AI.
Yeah.
How do you think
that's how the war's gonna start between robots?
You fucking snitch.
He cheated. No, I didn't.
How do you think like all that's in? how has that changed school? Like social media, AI, like is that?
I'm not sure yet, man.
No, we haven't really seen the effects yet.
No, I don't know. I don't know if kids, like you're saying, I don't know if kids know how to use it. Yet. But like, I mean, at least kids had an idea. I think educators know how to use it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it actually does help with like, okay, can you give me ideas for this specific standard, or like something like this, like you were saying, and it'll be like do, and then like here you go, like, and then you could change something.
It was so specific. Like I used it for this documentary, the Soletos one we made. We're like, okay, I want to do a summary. So I did a transcript of the documentary, like the dialogue and everything, and I put it on ChatGPT. Can you make a summary of this? And it put out a very like. I said a summary for a grant.
Yeah.
And it's very, Soletos is a documentary about music collectors and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, cool. And I'm like, you know what? Let me ask it. Can you write it out for like homeboys, like for cholos? And that motherfucker should have said, check it out, essay. These fools.
For real?
It started with check it out, essay. Wow. These fools are collecting and the other fools are hating on them. And da-da-da. Yeah. It was it was like very specific. I'm like,
one of my buddies is a chef, and he used ChatGPT to create his menu, he said describe it like a Michelin star restaurant, and it was basic ass food, and it laid it down like it's like Gordon Ramsay level shit, Yeah. So I mean, I like, it's crazy for me to think like, I would have to read books to find all this shit back then. Now even just internet was easier to do your work, but now it's like you don't have to do shit now. It's
a tool. Yeah. It's actually a really good tool.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if our young people, like school K through 12 kids, know how to really utilize it or understand it, but hey, that might be coming, man.
It definitely is coming.
Yeah. And like, I know with the pic stuff, there's picture things going on, like you create pictures and that might lead to like
deep fakes.
Exactly.
Videos too.
Video. Like, and sound too, I from what I understand.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, I don't even know, man.
Right now, you're basically done with teaching, right? You're doing
right now, yeah.
And how is it working in that side of education?
It's crazy because
a lot of corruption, a lot of.
I mean, you see what you see is just like the systems, and like how people do systems. Like there's this system here. What's going on here? I mean, it's kind of boring to be honest, but like it's all like relationships among people and politics, that's all it is, man. Yeah. Navigating that. It's just working with people, man.
Which is
a
nightmare sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Work with adults to help kids, That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, so far as I've been only there for like a couple of days, so
you just started.
Yeah, I just started, so I can't really say too much.
I got
like, I don't really know what's going on. I'm just like, here you go.
But does it kind of like show you, this is why we don't fucking have
actually, this is why like we do not get enough teachers yet, or this is why we can't help newcomers yet, or something like that, like it makes kind of sense.
Yeah, because it's like you hear, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but like some statistics I was looking at the other day about how illiteracy levels are high in the U.S. Fucking, specifically in like the urban areas, and like there's like like math, like it seems like we're worse at a lot of this stuff. I get people in the trades, like they don't even know how to simple measurements, like there's a lack of that now. Why do you think that may be the case? I mean, it's funding, but we've always been like, this has been an ongoing, there's hella movies, like there shouldn't be Stand and Deliver, like it shouldn't be, but why do you think that's?
I think it goes back to like what he was saying about your experience with the production classes. You have to give kids an opportunity to find it relevant in their lives.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing math, and this is a question when I was teaching. This still happens now, even when I was teaching last year. Like, why does this matter? Like, we're doing this equation. Why does it matter? Well, actually, it does matter because, for example, you know, oh, I know for the little kids, we talk about gas prices.
Yeah.
But look at the guy, like there's a fraction there. What does that fraction mean? What does that 9/10 mean? Like, you know, like you're exiting the freeway, you know, you're 1 1/4 mile away. What does that mean? You know, that's how you connect it all. Like pizza, you know, that's the easiest one to connect. Like I got 1/3 slices. What does that mean? You know, or 2 out of 4 slices, but that's like 1/2, you know? So you make the connection relevant to their lives.
That's
part of it.
That's how I learned better too, when they would do something like that. And the thing that I guess this is like a, what kind of gets me about like what's popular in education is, and to each his own, but like there's like a lot of stories right now about, I mean, the illiteracy and like, you know, simple math, like we're way down on the list in the country as a country, but like, and you see it when you go to jobs. Some of these fools don't know how to read, write, or just simple critical thinking, you know. And and then what you hear about that the problem is in America is that they're teaching like trans books and stuff, which is like, but it's like there's like this problem is kind of gonna affect us way more long term.
Right. Exactly.
If, you know, the dudes building my future house don't know simple addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
Can't read a ruler.
Yeah, the fucking foundation's off hella because, you know.
That's a great point. And I mean, you think about other countries, you know, look, when I was also doing ELs, like I was teaching ELs for this test to graduate from high school. I don't know if you remember that one, but there was a math one. So you had kids who didn't speak any English have to take that test.
The exit exam?
Yeah.
Did you ever take the exit exam?
Dude, I don't remember. High school was a blur to me.
I don't think we did. It was more recent, like the last 15 years. Yeah, maybe you did.
Did you ever take an exit exam?
He didn't even take an entrance exam.
Do you remember the exit exam? The math and the English?
I was pissed because we had to take the exit exam, and then they just recently got rid of it.
They did. Like 2-3 years.
You got to go through that shit. Don't take that shit away.
2-3 years after I graduated, they took it away.
Exactly. Yep. And I was teaching kids that were newcomers. I didn't know any like English, and I had to help them pass that because they got their credits to graduate, but they couldn't pass it because of that test. Wow. So my job was to help them pass a math test. So we would get like at 7:30 in the morning.
No way.
And like they would show up like 15 kids, and we just every day practice, and like all of them passed. It was really good. But my point though was like the kids coming from other countries actually get better. Their math skills are way better.
Yeah.
Like they're just better.
Oh yeah.
You
just
know?
the English part.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just all that was.
So, like when I came from, I was talking about how I did junior high in Mexico. I came in as a sophomore, and they were teaching me a lot, like math and a lot of skills. They were teaching me not better, but more advanced in Mexico than I was over here.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I sucked at math either way. But going back to what we're talking about, like me doing video production classes, were there programs when you went to high school that you were part of, or clubs, or anything like Mecha or anything like that you were a part of?
Yeah, no, Mecha was there. I remember what we did. See, that's a great question, because what we did, and I think this is also why I became a teacher, we did our own Chicano Latino club at the time. It was like me and some like 4 other students, and we just worked and there was also something there, and there was teachers also that helped. Like they were great because they had Chicano Latino studies, which is great. You know, this is Berkeley. This is Berkeley High.
Yeah.
You know, they try to do things different, but if anything, they had the people there too. So that was like pretty cool. And so they helped us like do that, and we did kind of that work for, you know, we did a Chicano Latino graduation for our class, and I had all the folks come in. We like did that, and we did other events and stuff like that. And so I think from that I was like, okay, you know, I guess, you know, you're helping out, you're giving back.
Right.
And that's how I felt. That's one of the reasons why I became a teacher.
Are you still connected to a lot of those? Like
my friends, yes, but not really, because I don't live in that area anymore. But it's changed. But like saying that, there's other groups, but you know, at the time, things are always different, man. You know what I mean? And so now I think what I see is that most schools in this area are like, they're trying to do things within school day,
right?
And programs like the vocational stuff.
Yeah,
you know, but it depends on the site and who's there.
You mean within the hours that?
Yeah. I mean,
because if you guys got paid by the hour, you'd be killing it, huh?
Yeah.
Like back when you were working, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like a hella overtime.
Yeah. Well, that's what I used to do too. Like I get time carded to help, you know, do this and that. I mean, it all helped, man. But like, you know, it was different back then, you know.
Going back to the Chicano studies or like Mecha, I always felt there was a little bit of division when I was in high school, because I identify as Chicano, like I'm Mexican American, born here, Mexican parents, but I did spend a lot of time in Jalisco. So when I came to high school, that's who I talked to all the Mexican kids that weren't necessarily Chicanos, had the American experience, and I saw Mecha as I'm Mexican American, but I speak Spanish. They don't speak Spanish. Yep. So a lot of people that were in Mecha didn't even speak Spanish. So I already felt like a disconnect with them. Yeah. So that's why I never joined something like Mecha. It was later on that I grew up like, wait a minute.
You felt Mexican, not Chicano.
Right. Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like I still, because growing up, I grew up with all my illegal, non-citizen cousins. And I actually doing like a joke about that now. I was like, I identify still as Mexican, but if I'm filling out what's it called, a scholarship, I'm Chicano. Yeah. But I felt disconnected from that too, and it's a trip because I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities because there's a lot of Chicano groups and Chicano scholarships, and when I wish I could redo school when I was going, because I feel like it's all on me, and there's no help, and that's it, and no one really told me what I can do, what what options there is if I wanted to go and finish school, because I did like learning, it wasn't the same way. I wish I would have had more of like you mentioned, you just said you can do your thing, but in a video form. Yep. And I did have that. To a certain degree. There's probably something else there. Yeah.
Oh, we're young at that time, man. Yeah. We don't know what's going on too. We don't really know.
We're partying and doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And even at the high school when you're older, you don't even know what you're going to do. Some kids already know, but for the most part, you don't really know. That was one of the things. I wish my high school had a better system to show us, especially kids of color, what engineering is all about, or what you saying, video production and schools, visiting colleges. We didn't really do that. That was our parents had to do that, if they even can do that,
Yeah.
And so I would have visited UC San Diego or something, or gone down there if I had a chance, or even JCs or anything like that. But working class families don't have time for that kind of stuff, and so
do you think there's more working class students going to college now because of the resources? Maybe there is more.
I think so. I know Merced, UC Merced, that's the main school where a lot of Latinos and raza go.
Oh, no way.
It's really impacted like that. And then, I saw the stats right now. The hardest one to get into is UCLA. Now, I don't know. Wow. Yeah. I don't know which, and then Berkeley's the second one, but I don't know the demographic breakdown,
Okay.
Because when I applied, it was the year right after affirmative action ended. So it was very interesting, We're the first class that got into the UC system without affirmative action. So it's okay.
You earned that shit.
that was one thing. Yeah. Now people can say you're here because you're a quota. Man, fuck the quotas. I'm here because I belong here. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's all interesting. I don't really know. I can't remember the stats though. But yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Wow. No, for me, I still do think man, is it? Would you say this to? Okay, this question goes out to someone like me. Would you say because for me, I was it's too late. I always wanted to go, and
it's not too late, man.
Yeah, I just needed to hear that. Thank you, guys. Go do it. But I always felt like it is too late, and I could see a fucking 18, 19-year-old getting a scholarship. For me, I don't see that as being nah, dude, you had your chance. Get your ass back to work.
No.
I don't know. I'm being bitter. I'm being But is there maybe for some of our
tell
listeners?
them you're doing research for a documentary.
Yeah. You got life or experience. That's what you got. You got the ins and outs, and that actually is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's ever too late, man.
Do you still are you still continuing your school? Did you go back to school?
Actually, I'm in the middle of a program.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, to do counseling. Now, I got really lucky working at schools to pay off my loans, so that was why I went.
Oh, they pay off your
prior, my teacher loans, all that, man. I got lucky with that. So because there's programs that pay for that.
Yeah.
To help you with your if you're working for a public
school,
or even just a service, you're a fireman or a policeman or something like that.
What? Okay, okay.
So I forgot what it was called, but I got forgiven because I work with the public, and
so public service.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then now I got it again, so I could still qualify, but I have to be in a district for like 10 more years. So it's like, okay, I could do that, and then I'll be there, and then I could pay my loans off.
See, that's something I don't think a lot of people know that's available. Like, you know, paying off loans, because I know friends of mine still have like $40,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, no, it's worth it.
Okay.
I think it is, but you have to like be in the school or some type of public position.
It's just like it's not like there's people out there eagerly telling you that.
That's a secret.
Yeah,
It's a secret, man.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, believe me, like it is a secret. They hide this shit. So like,
oh hell yeah.
I was lucky enough to get cleared a lot of money, like loan money, to you know, to get it off my plate. But like I said, I started a new program to do something else. Like, because I think in education, you'll see like you could do a lot of things, but you need a credential for this, or a credential for this, or a credential for this, and it's like, man, again, like
to go to the next level,
or stay at the same level but a different area. This is like, okay, but you know, what else am I gonna do? You know, I haven't won the lottery. You know, I don't have
not yet.
I'm close.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm about to get a fantasy prize ticket on the way out. You know? Give me some $70K right now, but
show up with a Voss water bottle. No big deal.
What's that water? Fuji.
Yeah.
Get a Fuji bottle. But yeah, you know, like unless you know, I'm not making, you know, tons of cash, but like, you know, at some point, you know, I gotta think about my retirement, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, stability too. Like being a principal right now or a teacher is hard, man.
Really?
It's hard. Like principal too, man. Like, ooh, there's a lot.
From what I've heard, like right now, teaching, starting off as a teacher is like full time. It's like $70K.
Oh,
it's a little bit better, right?
That's good. I think. I mean, shoot, I was half of that when I first started, man.
Oh wow.
And
Jeez.
I was actually less than half of that, man.
That was back in the Bush administration.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. But you know, I was young and I had energy, and I just rent was cheaper here in the Bay Area. You know,
you get an apartment for $700 in Richmond.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. That's how much it was. And so you didn't need that much to bring in to make it, you know, to live, be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and everything was cheaper back then. So, but now with everything up, it's hard. You know, especially if a family. And you're a teacher, man, that's hard. Like one of the big things about teaching is that you could have your summers off.
That's the
thing.
That's why I think I told you I wanted to be a teacher.
Yep.
After high school, that's what I was going to school for. I don't know if I ever told you that. That was my first thing, and I'm be honest. Yeah, I mean, it was because I wanted, you know, I thought I like history, but mostly it's the summers off.
Spring break.
You get spring
2
break.
weeks off for Christmas, paid. Yeah.
Exactly.
That was like my main, like back then, you know.
Is it paid? Is it paid when you guys are out?
Yeah, it depends on the district, but
right.
If you sign certain forms, you could get paid through the summer.
Oh, okay.
And like it's good, man.
I got a buddy who's a teacher, but he's a
college
2-year college teacher. I don't know if that doesn't apply to them.
Call him right now.
No, because he made it seem like, we're going to be off school, so I need to, you know, find something else.
It could be like that. Like, so that's what happened to me.
Oh, but sorry, he doesn't have like a degree. He has like the minimal qualifications to be like an instructor.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but that's why I did it too. Because in the summers, like there was a summer I went to the World Cup, man. And that was like, I'm like June 6th. I'm out. I was out in Germany for like a month. It was, and that was because I was teaching, man. Like I didn't have to be called for a meeting.
So there's you know, you work more during the day sometimes, but there's like
there's balance.
There's balance. Yeah. And it helped. I mean, that's 2 months off is a beautiful thing.
It's like 8 weeks. I mean, it depends, but should be about 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, it's the best because you could work summer school, and I did that my second year. I'm like, never again. Like summer school was like 4 or 5 weeks, and you have like only 3 weeks off, and you're like, man,
hella fights.
Yeah. Not even fights. It's just like,
I remember that's why I didn't want to go.
It is. It depends on the site, but you actually had to get there earlier.
Yeah,
it's like 7 a.m. to like 2 o'clock, and I'm like, I mean, it's more chill, but still, it's like, oh man, I'm still getting paid, you know, but you get paid more. I mean, you get an extra check. But you could do other things too, man. It's not like you don't have to do summer school. You do other things, you know. And so,
and for you, do you think you got into like the admin side more because of like you see all the problems that there is? Like,
I think I was encouraged to apply. I remember like my old principals were like, dude, please, we need you as a principal. I'm like, I don't know. But then I part of it too is like I need to feed my kids because like the pay of the teacher, you can only max out certain, So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so I got pretty lucky, with that, and it was good.
Do educators get any kind of breaks when it comes to like buying a house or anything, stuff like that? Because I think in Mexico they do.
Oh, that's great.
I believe so. Yeah, I'm trying to, because I think like my tias, I have a couple of tias that are teachers on there, and I know that they get special rates sometimes on if they want to buy a property, if they want to. I don't know if that. Probably not here.
It depends, man. I don't know. I know there might have been some programs in the past where you're like a first-time home buyer or you work a public goods act or something like that, but I'm not really sure. I know, like on my prior job, where they had a program where they could help you get like a loan or something.
Oh wow!
To get started to get a house in this area, but they took that out. So that's why that was one of the other reasons I was like,
oh, that's where you were a pro teacher.
yeah. But see, like those kind of things depends on the district, I guess. Okay. But if I think I would have started a year earlier, I would have been qualified for that. But they still got rid of it, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Damn.
I know.
Man, we just got the light, but I want to thank you for coming out, man. And
it went by fast.
Yeah, I know it did, and I appreciate you, like getting into some of the stuff we talked about, man. Because I still in the back of my mind, like I feel like I always wanted to see if I could be a teacher, just because it did, like, aside from all the jokes aside, I do like talking about like I wanted to do history teacher, like that's what I wanted to be, and
that's a great thing, man. History, I saw some history teachers this year, and they're so, I mean, you could talk about anything, man.
Right? Yeah.
It's so
yeah,
cool.
And like I think part of the like when I was going to school, I was doing well in college, better than high school, way better than high school. Like it was a whole different thing for me. Like I actually focused, I did my work, and I took it serious, and I got good grades. And then when I took a speech class, I struggled, and that's kind of why I started doing stand up. And that was almost over 10 years ago, and I'm still in this thing now,
cool,
and it kind of gives me that feeling, because I always like performing, and I feel like as a teacher, you kind of always going to be,
You are the stage.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the biggest things, sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
One of the biggest things that I found out about teachers, which is kind of like a Santa Claus doesn't exist moment, is when I was little, I thought all the teachers were like serious and they're adults and they don't party. But when I got as an adult, now I'm drinking and doing drugs with teachers, and I'm like, I wonder how many of my teachers were like this. You know what I mean? Like they just obviously they're professional over there.
John Mulaney, the comedian, he has a joke that like he has a friend who's a teacher, and then she would be at the bar drinking, and it's like, fuck, I got class tomorrow, I'll just play a movie. She's like, that's why teacher play movies.
Yeah.
What's something you can oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, remember we were talking about coping?
Yeah.
I mean, for real. Teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it. So
yeah, no, that's, man. What's one thing you can say that I guess you look forward to as far as like education system?
Ooh, in terms of like
for the future, maybe.
Man, well, I know kids are smart, and as long as we're keeping them on track and making sure they're not going too crazy, I think we'll be okay. I mean, I think they're going to be the next generation up, and I think if there's like-minded educators like here and people that understand it, I think we'll be okay. I do worry about certain things. Politics and all, but that's at a global level, though. Like I think we have a lot of good tools to make everything a little better, like help our kids, and they're going to be the ones taking over things, so I just that was my goal as a teacher, to make sure when the kids graduate, they're not going to jail, but they're not killing people, or hurting others. That was my whole thing,
Yeah, the bar was low.
Going to engineering school is awesome. That's what we want them to do. But please be a good,
staying out of trouble.
Just be a good, give back to your community.
And that falls on the parents a lot.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but he's saying like everything you just said about if you've seen it getting better, everything you just said has to do with the teachers and the students, not necessarily with the freaking state helping.
Yeah.
Like you guys already have your mindset like we're not going to get any fucking help.
Yeah.
What can we control?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The state thing. Yeah, like I never really got political. Even though I'm a certain way, I never try to do that because I think that would be unfair to the kids. I don't want to indoctrinate them, you know. I want them to come to their own conclusions.
Right.
At the same time, I was like, you know, I never told them where I'm at, but like, this is what I kind of value and believe. But then, you know, it's always about understanding their values and beliefs too, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I'm always optimistic, man.
Yeah. And I met a lot of your students afterwards.
Yeah.
And now everyone always said good things about you. So, you know, good job, man. Yeah. Thank you for
good.
Just like, I feel like for teachers, thank you for your service.
I appreciate that, man.
Well, man, we'll see if I decide, you know, cause you were, I don't know, I would say this on the air or whatever, but you were kind of giving me information and helping me possibly get back into school. And
yeah, man, you could do it.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll check back in.
We'll see.
All right, guys.
Hey,
do you? But before we go, do you want any? I don't know if I always say if you want to plug anything to our listeners or anything you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put that out there.
Maybe next time. Like I'm kind of off a lot of things.
No,
but,
for sure. And I know for sure some of your old students are probably watching this.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have a Twitter
a little
account,
message
or do I have
anything,
a Facebook, or if you were
or a message to one of your old students?
Teacher, just look for me on what platform am I on? Twitter or Facebook?
Okay.
Even though I don't check it, you know, just send me. You'll see me, man.
You're gonna get. I know for sure you're gonna get someone here.
Yeah, and I would like to reconnect because, like, once you have a family, once you have kids to raise, man. That's that's
You're not my problem no more.
Yeah. So, but no, it was a great experience being there. Like an honor to be there. When I was there.
For sure, man. So, all right, man. That's been the Voice Party, and we're out.
Thank you.